my IT lab and I have downloaded the instructions for the Excel Chapter 2 exam review, and I have downloaded the start file. The first step would like us to save the start file, File Save As, and we want to go to our 1010 folder. I have mine on my desktop, so I'm going to scroll up here and go to Desktop, open my 1010 folder, open my Excel folder, and I have an Excel Chapter 2 folder. And they want us to name this last name, first name, EXL02. I can't spell first name. EXL02 underscore SA1 DEBD. I had mine saved, but I'm going to resave this over the one I have in there. So I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to replace mine. You won't have to do that. So the next thing in this step wants us to add the file name in the worksheet's left footer and the sheet name in the right footer. To get to our header and footer in Excel, we have to go to the Insert tab at the top, go to the text group, and you should see header footer. When you click on header footer, it puts you in the header in the center section. We want to go to footer. There's a button right up here at the top in the design ribbon that says Go to Footer. It's in the center. Click on Go to Footer. That puts you in the footer center section. You want to go to the left section. So move your cursor over to the left section of the footer. And up here at the top you will see File Name. It's an icon. It has a green with an X in it. Click File Name. When you click over to the right section of the footer, you'll see your file name showed up. In the right section of the footer, they want you to click on Sheet Name. It's the icon right next to File Name. In order to see your sheet name come up, click right above your section. And there you have it. You see your file name and your sheet name. We want to go to Normal View. Down here at the bottom on the status bar on the right, you'll see a icon with a bunch of squares. It says Normal. Click on it. And then when I get to Normal, I usually hit Control Home. Then I can see all of my data. Next, we want to go to number 2, and we are going to select all the headings, A2 through I2. Whoops, A2 through I2. We want to wrap the text so that some of that text will come down to the next line within the cell. Wrap text is in the alignment group on the Home tab. Click it. And then we want to middle align the text in the cell, which is vertically instead of horizontally. The middle align button is right above your center button in the alignment group on the Home tab. Now I'm going to go to number 3. I want to select columns B through I. We're selecting all the columns B through I. Make sure you run your cursor over the B the whole way through to I. They want us to make these columns all big enough so you can see the numbers. Notice how you have the number signs and you can't see the numbers. To do an auto fit to all of these columns at once, if you go up here on any line in between the letters, any line, you'll see a double-headed arrow appear. When you see that double-headed arrow, double click. And that gives you your numbers and they all show. And that's called auto fit. Number 4, they would like us to go to B8 through H8. And they want to see the sums. So we're going to go up here to the Home tab in the editing group and click on Auto Sum. Click right on the word Auto Sum. Notice some of the numbers don't show, but the next thing we have to do is format these cells to total cell style. And that'll help us with fitting the numbers in the columns. Go up to your Styles group in your Home tab, click Cell Styles or your More button if you already have your cell styles showing. You want to get to the Total Cell Styles. It's the last column toward the center. Okay, moving to number 5. Select the range B3 through H8. That's selecting all the numbers, and we want to make them no decimals. Notice how they have 2. In the number group on the Home tab, there are 2 arrows, one to the left, one to the right. One says increase decimal, one says decrease decimal. Click the decrease decimal twice. And now we have no decimals. We want to go to I3 now, and we are going to type in a formula. It wants to see the percent of total debt And that would be, here's your total debt right here in H, the H column. So we want to see the percent of the total debt for each general bonds, lease bonds, revenue bonds, loans, and capital leases. So to get the percent of a total, you want to divide. So click into I3 and type equals. You want to divide the smaller number, click on H3, and then your divide is your / button. You can find that button above the 8 if you have a number keypad, or it is to the left of your right shift key. And we want to divide it by H8, so now click on H8. We do not want H8 to copy H9, H10, H11, which is a relative when we do our autofill, when we fill this formula. So before you hit enter, you must make the H8 an absolute. You can type a $sign before the H and after the H, or you can just hit F4 on your keyboard, the F4 function key way at the top. If you hit F4, you should see a $sign surrounding the H and then the 8. Hit enter, check your answer to mine, compare it. Now we want to go back to I3, make sure that's the active cell. Take our autofill button down here on the right and fill it. So now we have percent of debt for each one of the types of debt. We want to make that a percent sign. So if you look at number 6, it tells you to make it a percent sign with 1 decimal place. So I want to click up here in the home tab in the number group and click on percent. It's a big percent sign. It doesn't give us any decimals and we want 1, so we've got to go back to the decimals and click on increase decimal 1 time. And we are done with number 6. Number 7 wants us to figure out the highest depth, lowest depth, and average depth. That's actually 7, 8, and 9. Let me move down here so we can see where we are. We're doing 7, 8, and 9 now. So we want to go to B10, and we're going to go up to our home tab, click on the drop down arrow right beside the word AutoSum, and choose Max. Now, the computer's asking us, do you want to give you the maximum number out of all of these numbers that I have this marquee going around? Our answer to that is no, because we do not want to include this total. So we've got to use our white plus sign and select B3 through B7, everything above that total, and then hit enter. And you should now see the largest number in January. To get the lowest depth, we're going to go up to our drop down arrow beside AutoSum and choose Min for minimum. And it's asking us, do you want to use the number that's right above here? No, we don't. So we want to go and select B3 through B7 once again and hit enter. And you should now see the lowest number that's up there above your total. Now they want to know the average of those numbers. So we want to go to the drop down by AutoSum and choose average. We do not want to use the 2 numbers that they have surrounded the marquee with. We want to go up here and once again select B3 through B7 and hit enter. Now we have our highest, lowest, and average of just January. We want to drag those and fill them through June. So we're going to select B10 through B12, and we can use our autofill button until point to that little green box at the bottom of the 3 cells and drag over to June. Now we have them through June. Next we want to add a pie chart. We're going to select A2 through A7, hold down the control button and select H2 through H7. We have 2 ranges selected by holding down control. You can let go of control, by the way. Now we want to go to the Insert tab, go to the Charts group and click on the round chart, the pie, and then click on the first pie. You should now have a beautiful chart showing all of your debt titles at the bottom, and it should be titled First Half Total Debt. We want to make that chart on its own sheet, so we want to move the chart. Up here on the Design tab in the Location group, click Move Chart. And then you have to click New Sheet and type what they want you to name the new sheet. And that should be they want us to name the new sheet Debt Chart, capital DEBT space capital CHART, and click OK. Now you have the chart all on its own in its own tab, and we want to change the layout to layout 6. So you want to go up here to the Design tab of the Chart Tools and click Chart Quick Layouts and find Layout 6. And then we want the Start Chart Style number 3, so point to Style 3. And now the last thing they want us to do is make these labels. See how our percents are in the pieces of pie? We want to change that text font to 12. So click on one of them and it should select them all. Go to your Home tab and you've got the font size 10. We want to make that 12. And we have finished number 9. Well, no, we have not. We still have to put our header footer in the pie. We did it in the data, but we did not do it on this sheet all alone. So we need to go back to Insert up here at the tab, go to the text group and click on header footer. Now, since we're doing it in a pie, it looks a little different here. We want to choose Custom Footer, and then in the left section, the File Name button is right up here, this X. Click Insert File Name. Go over to the right section and click Sheet Name. You have to click OK to verify that your file name and your sheet name appeared. And then click OK again. You will not see those on your chart. They only show up if you print it. We want to go back to the Debt tab down here. That's where our data is, and we're going to insert a clustered column chart. Select A2 through G7. A2 through G7. Go to Insert, and your column is your up and down picture here. It's the first one. Click on it, and then click on the first one. Now, instead of moving this to a whole new tab, they want us to actually move this below the data, staying on this worksheet. So I'm going to grab this chart using my four-headed arrow at the top. You want to drag to A15. Now, when you drag this in that cell, make sure you leave a little space. Don't put it right on top of the line. You want to leave it right there with a little space to the left and a little space to the right. I'm sorry, above. Then we want to drag it over to I. So we're going to take our corner until we see a white-headed arrow and drag over to I. Notice I'm leaving a little space again. And then we want to take it down to 38. So we want to go down to the bottom right corner. Hover over the corner until you get a white-headed double arrow and drag down to 38. And I got to move it back over. Right about there. That way you can tell the chart's inside that range. Inside the I column, inside the 15 row, and inside 38. Next, they want us to apply a style. Make sure you click back on that chart so you can get up here and get your chart tools. I clicked off of it, so I lost my tools for a minute. So I'm on the Design tab, and I want Style 5. 1, 2, 3, this one. So we do Style 5, and then the title we want to change. So click on the chart title up here, select over it, and type City Debt. Capital C and capital D, City Debt. So now they want us to go to the top of the worksheet. I'm scrolling up. And they want us to insert 3 rows. In order to do all at once, I select the 1, the 2, and the 3 right on top of the row numbers. And then right-click right on top your row numbers and insert. You should now have 3 available rows at the top. Now they want us to insert word art. Let's scroll up over here. So we're going to go to Insert. And you'll see word art in your text group on the Insert tab, and click word art. And they want this middle purple one, the one when you hover over it. It says gradient fill purple, accent 4, outline accent 4. So I'm going to click on that. I see my word art, and I want to type Aspen Falls, and that's with a capital A and a capital F. Leave that selected, and notice your text box box around Aspen Falls is a dashed. If you click on the dashed line and make it solid, it's easy to go home and you're going to make this 54 font size 36. That way you didn't have to select the text. You just make the box solid and it allows you to format whatever's inside the text box. Now they'd like us to move this. When you move it, use your bottom line. Point to the bottom border of the text box until you get a four-headed arrow. And you want to drag up so that it's right in C1. And that looks good. Next, they would like us to make this. Notice this dotted line's coming down here through F and G. We don't want this to be more than one page when we print it. So we're going to go to Page Layout. And there's a Scale to Fit group. It's a third group on the Page Layout tab. Notice the width up here. We want to click on Automatic and make that one page. And now if it prints, we do not have the dotted line. It'll print on one page. And they would like us to, we're going to make it a little smushier. We want to select A through I, all of the columns. So drag right on top the I, clear through, the A, clear through the I. And then let's do our auto fit. Double click between any of the letters. When you see the line here and the double-headed arrow, double click. Beautiful. And we are finished. We want to close this document, save this document, and then upload it to your MyIT and you want to browse. Thank you.